Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make an underwater wooden survival base. Here are all of the materials that you will be needing to make the house. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make this build is a 17 by 17 block area, as represented by the white concrete grid that you can see on the ocean floor in front of me. Make sure you have all the materials to make it, make sure you've got enough room to make it, and once you're ready, we can begin. Step 1, ladies and gentlemen, come all the way over to the front left-hand corner of your grid, if you've made it, and count right of the grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then inwards 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start off by placing 7 oak planks going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then want to extend the plank inwards, right, and then up by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to go left, up, left by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then down, left, down by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then right to give us this shape. So not only do we want to have this shape, but we want to, using our oak planks, locate the center of each one of the 4 sides. This should be quite easy. The center block will have 3 blocks to the left of it and 3 blocks to the right. What's important is that inwards from the center block, you can even mark it out if you like by placing a glass on the inside. We want to have rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 oak planks extending out from every single center block. So extending outwards from the middle, so from every side it's quite simple. You have 3 blocks on the left, 3 blocks on the right. You want to have rows of 1, 2, 3, 4 oak planks extending out from the center of where each particular side of the build is. And this is going to allow us to have 4 separate entrances to our house. So once you have finished marking out each one of the 4 entrances, you'll end up with a shape that should look like this. What we're then going to do is we want to connect each, I will call it a quadrant, together. And it's very, very easy to do. Basically, you just take the ends of all of the rows that you extended and you place rows of 1, 2, 3 oak planks, 1, 2, 3 oak planks extending towards the end here, and then you simply just join them together using a corner shape like this, and it just forms a circle. So you place rows of 3 oak planks extending inwards, and then you simply join them together at the corners. If you wanted to be a bit squarer, then you could use squares instead, but I have deliberately chosen to use circles just because I think it can sometimes be a little bit more of an interesting shape. And in doing that, you'll have something which should look like this. Now, once you have achieved this look, the next thing that we're going to do, now that we have our base shape sort of worked out, is we want to take the center part of this build, which is going to be the living space, and we want to dig 1, 2, 3 rows down directly in the middle of all of our living space. So this is going to be a kind of like a timely thing to do. It's not helped by the fact that we're dealing with sand and the fact that we're underwater, but it all has to be done. And we want to just continuously dig out. It shouldn't take us that long actually, because it is a relatively small space. We just want to dig out the 3 rows, and as I mentioned, this is going to make up the living space inside the house, and this living space will connect to all of the corridors, I guess you could call them, that we have just made. So once this is all hollowed out, and by the way, you could, if you wanted to, dig a little bit deeper, but the way that we actually have this set up is perfect, because the stairs that we're going to be placing allows us to allows us to walk directly into the house. You'll see what I mean when we actually get there, but as you can see, we've hollowed out the entire area now. I'm going to replace the floor with birch planks. So we've dug 3 rows down, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to make it a 4th row, and we're just going to have our birch planks. And I'm having some very weird interactions with the water at the moment. It doesn't feel particularly stable down here, but that's why we have our glass and that's why we have our sponge. So once we have completely refloored the area, as you can see me doing now, and I think that we're going to stick a sea lantern right in the middle just to provide a nice little bit of light. Despite the fact that we've already got enough light. Thank you, Mr. Conduit over there. What we're also going to do is we're going to place oak planks directly underneath what I will refer to as the outline of the build. So, we're actually going to place oak planks extending directly down. Yeah, this water's getting a little bit crazy now. Directly down, extending all of the walls down into the ground. So, this will, not only will this look a little bit better rather than having a mixture of sand, dirt, diorite, whatever else we've got around here, it will look nicer than that, and it will also provide a contrast against the birch, which we have. One of my favorite color combinations to use in... We are just destroying everything today. One of my favorite color combinations, we will be fixing everything with sand and stuff later on, and is to use oak and birch together. So that's why I'm using this. But of course, if you wanted to, you could use whatever color combination you like. It doesn't really matter. And it's actually good that we do have the light, because once we are out of the water, the conduit will start working for us. So, as you can see, we kind of have all of this worked out now. What we want to do is we want to make all of the 4 entrances into the house. So the way that we would simply do that is we would dig down. It might be easier this way. It might be easier this way. So, the first stair, we want to place birchwood stairs 1 row lower than the oak wood that we kind of have surrounding us. So, each one of the 4 kind of like corridors, we want to have a birch stair just set 1 row inwards. We then want to have another stair 1 row below that and in front of it, and then another stair finally, again, 1 row below and inside of that. This is going to be the entrance into the house. So we'll have the first stair 1 row lower than and set outside here, and then these stairs will slowly come down, and you want to have 3 stairs in total. We want to place birchwood planks extending from each side into the center here, and we want to replace these walls. And again, it's all tricky using sand and messing about with sand and stuff, but we want to use oak planks to create these walls. So we want to make this look like it's far better planned out than this. We don't want to make it look as though that we've kind of just plonked a house just in the middle of the ocean. We want to look as though that we have made the middle of the ocean our house. There is a difference. So again, we destroy the block here in between. We want the birchwood stair just 1 row lower than the rest of the kind of like the frame of the house, so to speak. And then we want to have where that stair comes down to on the ground. This is kind of like where we enter, and so the birch plank actually wants to be 1 row lower than the stair, and then that will take us into the center part of the house like this. So I don't know whether my explanation is kind of bad. I mean, it sounds a little confusing even to me as I'm saying it, but hopefully what you can see me doing on the screen is quite self-evident. So hopefully we will both end up with the same thing. So we can place these all here. There we go. Perfect. So as you can see, oh, and also do remember to destroy underneath where the actual entrances will be on these sides. So there we go. We've got like 2 corridors done. We just have another 2 to go, and you can even do it from the inside moving out if you want to, but it doesn't really matter which way you do it, as long as you end up with the same thing as you would have done using any other method. It doesn't matter really. So we can destroy the walls here. A little bit of coal it seems as well, so we can destroy the walls here. Some oak planks. We will be adding light as well into the sides. So we're going to be using either lanterns, assuming that they work the same way as they do on Java, in which they can be placed underwater. I'm pretty sure they can. We'll be using lanterns. Oh, where am I missing? Oh, just this side as well. Work from the outside, from the inside out too. So there we go. So from here, then these stairs. Yeah, we'll be lighting up each individual little stairway using either lanterns or sea lanterns if need be. And we will also light up the inside a little bit more because, as I mentioned, as soon as we get out of the water, the conduit that I have set up over there somewhere, I think it's over there, I don't actually know which way I'm facing at the moment because this house is symmetrical, will turn off and we won't be able to use it. So there we go. So as you can see, that's looking pretty good, right? We have all 4 entrances. And all we have to do now is load the top of the house using glass, like this. So we can simply place glass on top of here. Oh, something that I completely forgot about this. So this is what the house looks like right now. But you can place birchwood slabs on top of the center part of the house, and then this will contrast against the oak. It might even look nice the other way around as well, depending upon which way you want to do it. But it kind of looks like a flower, which I sort of like a little bit. If you want to kind of like shorten these, I'm going to call them flower beds, you can place a little bit of birch either on the inside of this area here or even on the outside moving in. And again, it's all about contrast and stuff, and it depends what you like. You can have it kind of like either way, and then you can just have flowers, or, well, technically not flowers, but kind of also flowers. You can have like corals and stuff as you like, or you might not want to have that at all. You might want to use this area for something else, perhaps some sort of farming, perhaps seagrass or kelp, or whatever it is you might want. But this is what I made originally. I'm going to come down here into the house. Right, and I'm going to have doors, so I'll have one door here, and I think I'm going to have glass above the door as well, so just so that we can see in a little bit. So one door here. This might actually take care of all of the water, so another door here. I think it might take care of the water. I think that we actually got rid of all of the source blocks for the water. As we actually dug out the area. I might be wrong, but it seems to only be flowing through where we don't have a door, so we may not even need the sponge. Oh, I don't think we need the sponge at all. I think that this is perfect. If we don't even need to close the doors because they still work, of course. But yeah, I think the conduit's fading out. I don't think we have any water. So we're going to destroy all 4 corners of the inside of the house here. We're going to replace these pillars using sea lanterns, and then you'll find that it's actually very, very bright in here anyway. So we don't even need the conduit at all. Just some nice fively placed sea lanterns will do just fine. Fively placed doesn't even make any sense. Let's get rid of all of this stuff. I don't know if we'll be needing it again, but we'll see. We're gonna grab the lantern, sea pickles, sea grass, fire coral, brain coral, tube coral, horn coral, and bubble coral. Did not know it was called that. Brain coral. And we're just going to place some lanterns. Yep, lanterns can be placed just like this, just outside the doors, and that provides a nice additional little bit of light. Which, of course, is, I suppose, a little bit irrelevant as the conduit, does its job very, very nicely. Thank you, Mr. Conduit. And we don't really need it, but, I mean, just for the sake of decoration, it does look just a little bit better, I think, as you can see it. So, yeah, there we go. We're getting this done rather nicely. What are sea pickles for? So we're going to use a mixture of sea pickle, sea grass, and all of the corals, and we are going to decorate the insides of each one of these little quadrants. So these little flower beds here, we're just going to use sea pickles, just like this. And typically speaking, sea pickles, once again, as long as that they behave in the same sort of way that they do on Java, would typically provide light, which is irrelevant to us now. I keep mentioning that because we do have the conduit. But if the conduit is for whatever reason not affecting you, so let's say that you're up on the surface or something like that, or you're perhaps a bit too far away, then the area will be nice and lit up, which is of course nice and beneficial to us because we'll be able to find it easier. So and it will just look better as well with it having some additional light. But as I mentioned, I suppose it is a little bit pointless at the moment. But I still think it looks quite nice to have. I think we destroyed one of the previous. We put a seagrasser. It's just nice for us to have a nice little mixture of all these different plants because it's just nice and colourful, and I actually think it works out quite well that we have, what were we using? Yellow. It works out quite well that we're using pretty much just 2 of every single. We've got all these yellows in here, so yeah, it works out quite nicely. So if you have the same sort of selection as me, you actually just about run out of room to place them if you place them about 2 at a time. So there we go. Yeah, I think it just looks a little bit nicer. It just looks a little bit more colourful. The only thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the sand and I'm going to take some of the oak wood, and I'm going to destroy all the concrete that surrounds this area because we don't need it at all. And you can either replace the around, like you can go around your house now, and you can place sand kind of like up to the entrances, and so you don't have any cliffs. Specifically, I was kind of like thinking this side here, and you can either build sand up to where the oak wood stops, kind of like this, or what you can do in some instances is you can build the oak wood into the sea floor, if that makes sense. So you can kind of have this effect. So it's not just sat upon it, it can be built directly into the environment, or you can build the sand around it. That I am going to leave up to you. But let me completely revamp this. Let me add all of the sand and stuff, and I'll show you what this looks like once it's been 100% fully completed. So this is what your underwater wooden survival base will look like once it's been 100% fully completed. As you can see, we have all of our lovely corals and seagrass and pickles, and we also have integrated it into our environment. All that is left, of course, is the fact that we just have to fill it up with all of our worldly belongings, and then we will pretty much be done. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you do want to make anything else by me, check out the comment system, description below, and the top of the comment section for more. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.